Okay. Welcome to this episode of Candid Couture. You're back here with Tours, another third of the collective company. Introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are.
Hi, my name's Amber. I go by Amber Rayne. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So, what are your social media handles so that people can find you?
Instagram is the best way to reach out to me or follow me for social media, and my Instagram is the Amber Rayne Rayne.
All right. So, tell us a little bit about your personal style, who you are, how do you express yourself?
Okay, so my personal style is pretty. I would just call it eclectic. Because I don't feel like it really fits into any specific like category or genre. I pretty much dress based on how I feel that day. So whether that's a little more dressed up or streetwear, whatever you want to call it. It really just depends on how I'm feeling. So it's no really set style. I just whatever I like, that's what I'm gonna wear.
Got it. Got it. So, where would you say your style comes from? What's your biggest influence? Was it a person? Was it maybe a specific era in time? Was it a region?
Um, Well, I will say that being from this area is, I feel like, very much into fashion, and we have our own style. And when I was growing up, um, you know, it was, kind of a motivation to not be called a Bama at school. Um, I get dumped on. So, I would, whatever money I got for school shopping, which usually wasn't a lot, I would spend majority of it on getting like a fly pair of sneakers. Like I remember one time we went school shopping and I had bought the Kobe Bryants. This is probably like in middle school or something, but my dad was like, "Why would you spend all that money, all majority of your shopping money on a shoe?" I'm like, "Because like y'all gonna have me looking crazy and I'm gonna get cooked when I go to school." Like, so I think, just like any other like teenager, you don't want to be, joned on for like your clothes or whatever. So you had to have at least like one um fly pair of shoes. And there's nobody really, I would say, like, no offense to anybody in my family, but there's nobody I can really say like I got my style from. Like
Mhm.
now, like most people in my family look to me for their style advice. But I've always really been into fashion. I've always really enjoyed like drawing clothes and stuff like that. Um, Also, I will mention one person that really I really like her style is like Tayana Taylor.
Mhm.
Um and I because I feel like she does a really good job of balancing like she can do a super feminine look and then also do a really dope like streetwear look, which I feel like is kind of like my style. Like I go back and forth between something that's more of a feminine look or more of a streetwear kind of look, and sometimes I kind of like mesh those together.
Mhm.
um so I think my style is kind of like feminine streetwear vibe, I guess. Like that's like what I enjoy wearing the most. I really like dressing for like comfort and utility,
Mhm.
and just like comfort is definitely a big thing. I like having pockets. I'm not really big on purses, and I really put a lot of shit in my pockets. So sorry for, but it's like I need pockets. It's like I need pockets, and the bigger the pockets, the better. Um, but yeah, my parents didn't really I didn't really like the way my parents dressed me when I was growing up. So as soon as I was able to get a job and make my own money, I spent most of my money on buying myself clothes and shoes and stuff like that. So
Got it. Those middle school days were definitely rough. You definitely had to be on point. At least one good pair of sneakers.
for sure, you needed at least that one solid pair.
So, tell us what type of creator would you consider yourself? What's your medium?
So I'm a visual artist. Um, I started off everything started from me blogging. Um, I was really artistic growing up, and I don't really think my parents really my parents didn't really look at that as like a potential career, anything like that. And they really wanted me to be like a doctor, a lawyer. But as I got older, um, like I kind of lost those like creative hobbies, and I was just really like not interested in really what I was learning. So I started like a fashion blog, and from there, um, I actually got to do a photo shoot that my best friend set up for me. She basically had was just starting her career in the hair field and had did hair on a photo shoot. And the photographer had taken some pictures of her and told recommended she try modeling. And she found this thing called Model Mayhem, which is kind of like to me like similar to Instagram, or kind of like what Instagram has.
Yeah, kind of like a precursor.
Yeah, definitely a precursor, because it was like a network for models, photographers, makeup artists. You had a picture gallery of your work, and people could reach out to you. And somebody had reached out to her to do a photo shoot through there. And after she worked with them, she set up a photo shoot for me too. And it kind of just went from there. Once I had put up some pictures, some other photographers reached out to me and basically started me in modeling, which was really ironic because I didn't really have a lot of self esteem growing up, and I did not like taking pictures whatsoever. Like, I hated everything about most of the pictures that had been taken of me up until that point. So, surprisingly, my first shoot came out pretty well. And I started working with all kinds of photographers, everywhere from like beauty to like cosplay type stuff, which was really dope. Um, so from there, I ended up getting into photography because I just felt like I had too many ideas that I couldn't execute as a subject. I
Hmm.
taught myself how to use my camera, and from there, I just started creative directing projects. And that really opened me up to modeling and photography, really opened me up to a lot of different opportunities. I have done wardrobe, set design, creative direction, casting, production. I've also had some gallery shows with my photography, and have ran a couple small like gallery exhibitions. So I've done a multitude of different things. I just consider myself a visual artist because everything I do, I want it to be visually stimulating and appealing to whoever is looking at it. So I play a lot of different roles and wear many hats, but ultimately, more recently, I've gotten into like film and production, and I've done wardrobe for larger commercial. I've also I got the opportunity as a model to be in two Lil Uzi videos. I just recently produced a video for an artist named Karan that's from here, that's signed to Atlantic. So, I mean, every time I try to focus on one thing, I tend to get an opportunity or a gig to do one of the other things that I've done. And I kind of just go with the flow. I don't turn down any money or opportunities to do something that, I enjoy doing. So, yeah, my medium is anything and everything, because I'm gonna just, and anything I involve myself in, it's just I turn it into some sort of visual art. So,
So your hands are kind of in every visual pot that's out there.
right.
So you just gave us a little rundown of your resume and whatnot. So in your works, I assume you brush shoulders with a lot of different types of creatives who work in different mediums, or maybe who work in the exact same medium you do, but just maybe have a polar opposite style. How often do those individuals influence, like maybe your personal style, or maybe you take something from them into your creative process?
Um, I am extremely inspired by other people. Um, I love people who are not afraid to put their ideas out there and express themselves through their style. And even if it's completely different from me, um, people who are unafraid to express themselves, it usually makes me want to work with them or collaborate with them in some way. And I've met a lot of really creative, talented people that I've had a chance to work with. But ultimately, I mean, I'm really inspired, by other people, and I really enjoy when people are expressing themselves through fashion because it's something that's just visually stimulating, and I like just looking at artwork and looking at things and looking at people. So, um, I just it's just inspiration to me, I guess. And then, I try to connect with these people and work with them and bring some of their art value to the project. So
Yeah. And so, how often do you get to travel through your works?
not as often as I would like. I've had to travel to New York for a lot of projects, which, New York is amazing. It's the fashion capital of the US, and also, just a completely creative hub for all art forms. I would definitely like to spend more time on the East Coast and hopefully get some gigs over there. The weather's much nicer over there. I would rather be there than here right now. Um, and New York in the wintertime is just not like the move for me personally.
Right,
But
right.
mm, but yeah, most of the places that I've been, that I've traveled to for projects have really been like New York and places on the East Coast.
Mhm,
There's a lot of talent in DC, and I've gotten a lot of gigs in DC. But some of the biggest projects that I've worked on,
mhm.
um, they've been in New York, or I've worked with like teams from New York that have come to DC because maybe that's the location where we're shooting. Like I was a wardrobe assistant for a commercial for Montefiore, I think that's how you pronounce it, hospital in
Mhm,
New, which is really well known. And we did a commercial and billboard, and I was working with this woman who is a very well known wardrobe stylist. She did wardrobe for Friends for like 5 years, so I learned a ton of stuff from working with her on that project. But basically, they wanted to shoot the commercial at the Washington Ballet. And
mhm.
so they ended up outsourcing part of their production team to this team in DC that someone I work with referred me to. And I ended up working with, all these people. Um, from New York for that project. But I would and not only just the West Coast, but I would love to like travel overseas and like, have
Yeah.
another excuse to like want to go over there and work. So yeah, traveling is definitely top priority on my list once all of this is, wrapped up.
All the madness dies down. So through the traveling that you have done for work, what are some of the things that have changed about how you view your personal style, or maybe your creative process adapts a bit?
Well, I will say that wherever I go, I just tend to take in what's around me. I'm very observant. And whatever I'm learning or gaining or inspired by, that are things I don't normally see, I try to just take those with me and bring them back here. I like to share my experiences, opportunities, and knowledge with my peers and fellow creatives. And so whenever I go experience something, I just use it as a learning experience, and I try to enhance myself and also, bring it, like I said, bring it back to this area.
Mhm.
Because this area will always be home for me, and I think that we don't get as much recognition as we should as being a really talented creative community. And I think that there's so many things that are happening in other cities and states that are achievable here.
Right.
Um, we just need to like put it out there and put ourselves out there. So, everything that I learn from anywhere else I go, I try to take it back here and apply it to the projects I'm working on with the people here, or just share with them what I know so that they will have the same opportunities, or whatever the case may be.
Okay. So we dug into your style a little bit earlier, so I want to get back there just a bit. So we all kind of followed some trends we regret, or maybe had a purchase that we felt like we really needed it, and once we had it, we just completely regretted it. You have any regrets you for buying fashion wise?
No, no. I don't have any regrets because there have been so many things that were like a great deal that I was like, it would be so irresponsible of me to buy this right now. And granted, it might have been, but like, there's probably more things that I regret not buying than buying. Like, I did buy these shoes that were like they were just like some chunky sandals from China, and I mean I kind of regret buying those because the quality was some shit and I'm just like this is horrible and I don't want this, but it wasn't like a huge purchase where I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe I spent all this money. Like most of the places that I buy from, you can return the stuff and it's not that big of a deal. But also too, like I am a shopper. Like I tend to accumulate a lot of clothing and accessories, and I have just started just recycling these things. Like I'll either like retire it from my closet and use it for a shoe, or I will give it away, or I started doing like closet sales where stuff that was like really cute, but I've worn it 15 times already and I'm over it and someone else might enjoy it, I'll just like sell it or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, I give a lot of clothes to like my sister, because we wear about the same size. So I really don't have any regrets about buying things because I feel like even if it's something that I cannot immediately use because maybe it wasn't like what I thought it was going to be, which
Mhm.
is usually not the case. But in that case, I always feel like I can find a purpose for it, whether it's selling it, giving it to somebody, or saving it to style on a shoot or on a project. Like, I really just feel like I don't have any regrets. I have more. Yeah, there's so many things I wish I would have bought
Yeah.
that I rather than the things that I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I bought this. And I'm a very smart shopper.
Mhm.
Like I'm looking for the best deals. I'm checking to make sure it's legit. Like I'm on top of it. I'm tracking every package every day, and I like my stuff. Like no regrets.
I feel you. I'm definitely out there trying to look for the best bang for my buck for all the things I want.
Definitely.
You have any memorable or crazy stories you want to share with the people from any of the gigs you've done?
Nothing like super crazy or like embarrassing or anything, but I will say that um two of the best experiences that I've had on set for a shoot were as a model for the two Uzi videos I was in.
Hmm.
And they were both two different extreme circumstances because in the first video they told us to like bring like new bodysuits, bras, underwear. Like they said that it was gonna be like an implied nude situation, and there was only 20 of us girls that were in the video. And I got casted like the night before and drove to New York at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I was there all day, because video shoots, if anyone is unfamiliar, if you're doing a video shoot, you should not plan anything else for the day because it will probably run all day. But we were had they ended up putting us in like pasties and nude flesh tone underwear that all matched our tone. And then at the last minute, they were like, the director does not like the line, the panty line, so everyone has to take their underwear off. And I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know about it because I didn't know that we was gonna have to do all this. But so that it was a very very nerve wracking experience. But also on set, like all the girls, we were all doing it together. Like we all were in the same situation. So we were all like able to kind of like ease the situation by like making jokes about it with each other and just like being comfortable with each other. And also too, like it was a really big set and it was extremely professional. Whereas all every like while we were shooting, we had like first of all we had to cover ourselves. So we had to like cross our legs, we had pasties on, we had to cover ourselves. But in between shooting, every time we would stop shooting, the assistants would run up and like give us robes. So the only times we were in that state is when we were actually filming. Um, and so they did everything they could to make us as comfortable as possible, which is something I really, really appreciated. And only the people that were required to be on set for the scenes we were shooting were allowed to be on set. So nobody like made it weird or made us feel uncomfortable. It was just the fact that I think most of us weren't prepared to be that nude. And like I was even contemplating like, is this something that I want to do? This is going to be on TV. My parents are like might see this. And I was just like, I drove all the way out here by myself at the last minute to do this. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get this money, and I'm really glad that I did because that helped me get cast for the second Uzi video, which was Sagween Paradise. And
Hmm.
that was a crazy experience also because it was a bucket list thing because I was a vampire.
Oh,
And the concept of the video was based on Blade, which is one of my favorite vampire movie series. I literally was obsessed. Like growing up, like I've always loved vampires. So it was like a bucket list thing for me. And on top of that, I wasn't even initially in the group to be one of the vampires. I like finessed my way. Like I was talking to one of the makeup artists and I was like, if you have extra fangs and contacts, give them to me because I want to be a vampire. And I got to like put in the fake teeth, put on the fake contacts, and like be a vampire in the video. And that video was really crazy because that lasted even longer than the first video.
mhm.
And literally, we were like waiting around for literally like 13 hours
That's
because
crazy.
they were like shooting all these other scenes prior to that, and there was like special effects and a stunt double and all this stuff. And we were supposed to be there for this like party scene. I don't know if you remember Blade, but that part where they were like in the
Yeah.
club and like the beginning of the movie. Yes, and then like you realize that like everybody's vampires and the blood starts spilling down, and
Hmm.
that's what they're doing to us at 1 a.m. Like I have been there since 12, and we started shooting our scenes at 1 a.m. and it was cold and they were pouring wet fake blood all over us, and we were forced to like dance like we were in a rave. And so that was like
That sounds like a crazy
that's
experience.
the craziest experience I've ever been on. But it's just crazy because that was like I got paid more money for the second video. And it was like one of those experiences like, wow, I really got to like be a vampire like on film for like this project. And if I hadn't had the courage to do the first video, then I wouldn't have got casted for the second video. So that was probably one of, the most memorable experiences that I've ever had on a set. And then the director is this director named Flex God Daps.
Hmm.
Well, on Instagram, that's his name. He goes by Daps. He's probably the most popular director amongst all your top artists, Migos, Drake, Beyonce. Like he's done everything. He's like Grammy award winning. So like I was like, damn, like I can't believe I'm working with these people.
Hmm.
So
A huge opportunity.
yeah, that was dope. Luckily, I haven't had any experience where like I embarrassed myself or anything. So yeah, that was the craziest thing.
So tell me, before we wrap up, do you have any advice for aspiring visual artists? Maybe young ladies who aren't too comfortable in front of the camera yet, but would like to be.
Well, number one, you definitely want to hone in and focus on your craft. Whatever you do, you want to continue to level up and be better than you were before. And I think as a model, that's something that you can easily see through your portfolio. You want to continue to work with better photographers and, have a certain quality of photo and headshot in your portfolio. But generally, my advice to all creatives is to maintain a professional image and reputation. You should have a professional email address. You should have a professional website, even if it's just simply a portfolio or gallery of your work. There should be somewhere that people can go other than your social media where they can see your work. Because if for any reason your Instagram is deleted or Instagram ceased to exist at one point, like what are you going to have for people to go to to reference your work. And I also think with social media, especially with, if you don't have a separate account for whatever work you're trying to display, you're posting your thoughts and emotions and things like that. And people don't necessarily want to see that. They want to see, can you do the job that I'm looking for you to do? And a lot of people are caught up with, DMing and everything. And I think it's okay to DM someone to let them know, like, hey, I emailed you, because
Right.
that kind of signals that, like, I'm professional, I'm serious. And it's easier to keep track of an email thread than DMs, because you could be getting like a million DMs a day, and like it's just hard to, keep things organized. So, the more professional you are, the more people are going to take you serious. And then also too, just like following directions, and reading. I did a casting recently for a music video that I was producing, and I asked people to DM me their email for more information. And instead, people were just DMing me like, "Can I have more information?" And I couldn't even respond to them because they didn't follow simple direction. And there's so many other people that are following directions that I need to respond to. It's like, I don't even like, your journey stops here, because if I can't depend on you to follow a very simple direction, I can't depend on you to follow directions on set when I've already referred you and my name and reputation is on the line at this point. So, definitely just like, simple reading, comprehension, following directions, and doing what's being asked of you is going to take you very, very far, especially when it comes to being on sets, whether it's photo shoots or film. You'll notice that some of the people working there, like the production assistants, their job is to literally just follow directions. So if that's something that you can't do, you're not going to make it far. So just pay attention, be professional, have a website, have an email, and just pay attention.
Well, you ain't got anything to promote? You want to take us out with something to promote?
Yes. So, it's not out yet, but I have my first gig as a producer on a music video for an artist from this area. He's from DC. His name is Karan, Kron. His Instagram is Karan is music. And I recently worked to produce his latest video, which should be coming out soon. The director just sent me a preview of the final draft. And that was a really big deal for me because my first time being like a full on producer. And as a producer, you have a lot of roles. You have to make sure that overall the shoot is going well. And I did the casting, the wardrobe, and set design as well, for the project. So it was a lot of work and a big gig, but it was a really good team, and we did do it during quarantine. So we had restrictions as far as trying to be safe, distance, and working with a really small crew. And I'm just really proud because we only had the director, me, the producer, the cameraman, lighting, and then the artist and the lead model. And that was, and our makeup artist. And so that was, a really small team for a music video. So that's going to be coming out soon. If you follow me on Instagram at the Amber Rayne, I'm going to be posting that once it comes out, and it's going to be on all major music television platforms. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully you guys will like it.
Well, we thank you so much for your time and your insight. It's been another great episode of Candid Couture. Thank you again, Amber Rain.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, we hope you stay safe in the madness.
All right, you too. Have a good one.